All right, welcome to the Be Great Inspiration Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Cook. I got a special guest from y'all. This man is in the pursuing right now, doing great things in his life, helping people, inspiring people. He's got his own company. He's a Black entrepreneur, and I think this is going to be a special story for y'all. So check out my boy, Jalen Hosey. Welcome.
Yes. Yeah, my name is Jalen. Oakland, California, repping Diamond Heart Productions. Got my own brand. Something for the family, something for my people. So thanks for having me.
No, it's all love, man. I thought about it, like I was telling you before we even started, like just seeing Albert and then seeing him grow in the aspect of what he's doing in his life and stuff like that. And then when he was like, hey, I got somebody for you, that'll be, helpful to your show, he's an entrepreneur. And I'm like, yo, what, like, give me the contact. Like, let's run with this opportunity. So, man, anything, I just appreciate you for, being genuine, being open, and being able to get on here and, and make time for this. Cause I know you got stuff going on with your business and stuff like that. So I appreciate you.
I appreciate that. And, Albert's like family, bro. He's just a good man, like he's going to keep it real with you. And, somebody you can always depend on, you can't depend on too many people, but Albert, he's been good family to me since I know him the last couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah, he is solid, man. I will give him that, man. He is a solid dude. And that's what I kind of noticed about him. I'm like, yo, dude's solid. Like, I really like Albert, man. And we talk a lot, in the months, but recently we haven't really talked, with so much going on and him doing his business, I'm doing my business. So, but
right.
I want people to hear your story though, man. So I want you to really elaborate, you know what I'm saying? And talk about like, what was it like growing up in Oakland, man?
Man, I got so many different perspectives in Oakland, dog. I'll start from the beginning since, it's a real interview. So my parents, they both went to high school together. They both went to Fremont High. My mom, she lived on 56. My dad lived deep East Oakland as well, And, they met each other. They just was rocking with each other through high school. Decided to get married. And then they decided to move out to Oklahoma, go to school out there. But it was like a Christian college, it wasn't like Oklahoma State or nothing like that. It was a nice Christian college, And while my parents were out there, they had me and my brother. So we both was born out in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And then by the time I was 2 years old, they moved back out here, moved right back over to 56th Avenue and moved in with my grandma. And my mom was like, hey, I ain't about to have my sons in the hood like how we was, My mom said, we're going to go try to get us a loan. We're going to go try to get us a better house. And we're going to trust in God from here, And my pops was like, all right, we're going to do what we can. So my mom was looking everywhere for a house. The house that we in right now, my mom, when she first seen it, she's like, oh yeah, that's the house that I want. That's the house we're going to get. That's the house God's going to bless us with. And over time, they got, because how hard it is for a Black person to get a loan for a house, dog. You know what I'm saying? You know how hard that is, bro. Yes. But by the grace of God, they was able to get that loan. The house came through, moved us all in by the time I was 4 or 5 years old, right before I started kindergarten, bro. Been here ever since, moved out a couple times during college and stuff like that, but I'll get to that. But that's the beginning right there. That's the base of Jalen, Seeing my mom just having that faith to say, hey, I ain't about to have my sons in the hood no more, like I don't want my sons statistic, I want to get them out. I want them to be healthy, I want them to be in a better environment to grow in, better influences around them. And that's why I got the most respect from my mom, People like my mom, my pops, like they strong, They got what I call Diamond Heart, which is where the brand comes from, Diamond Heart Productions, Just solid people that they ain't gonna shake for nothing, you feel me? Because they already know what they believe in, And just all that, it all ties back together with that, But being in Oakland, bro, I've seen people get locked up for violence. I've seen people die. Just being around, bro. You hear gunshots just when you out and about, dog. You are having a good time out of nowhere, like straight up. You just hear gunshots just being out, dog. My mom was like, "Yeah, I don't want you out in these streets because these streets don't love you like how I do, like how you loves you. You feel me? Like how your brothers love you, how your grandma loves you, uncle loves you. You know, my mom made that very clear to me. She's like, they don't love you, Jay, because you know you're gonna get out, you're gonna get older, you're gonna have a good time. But Jay, I want you to just stay true to who you are and keep doing what you're doing. You know, my mom just always kept it real with me. I could tell my mama anything. My mom knows I wouldn't even tell the homies, you know, just because that's my mama. You know?
Right.
But Oakland, bro, it was just really about just staying focused, you know. My parents always told me, "Hey Jay, you got a good mind. Like use that, you know." My older brother, he had some athleticism. He uses athleticism. My brother under me, he got a good mind. My younger brother, he athletic as well, you know. So my parents was always like, "Hey, do what you got to do to get to the next level." And that's just always that I just had in mind. I got to keep making sure I'm going up the pyramid, you know. I got to make sure I'm always elevated one way or another, you know, whether it's spiritually or physically, you know.
Dang, that's crazy. I think one of the most beautiful things that you said though, man, is your mom, like she showed y'all that hard work and that faith at an early age. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So now, like what you said, it all kind of just ties back to everything. Like now you sit here with your own business and your own company, and it goes back to like you just have faith in yourself, you put in the hard work. But man, I think that's key right there, man. But like,
Right.
so how did you like keep yourself out of the streets? Like, what was one thing where you was just like, that's not for me?
Shoot, just my mom told me, and my pops, actually, my pops, I think my pops is the pinnacle of this. It's like, don't ever be afraid to stand alone, you know?
Yeah,
Like when I have my squads or when I have my friends or anything like that, they would dang near be handpicked by me, you know? Like I kick it with just one person. I kick it with two people. I kick it with three people, you know? I don't want to be in the middle of everything going on, you know? Because, you know, it's crazy. It's crazy out here, dog. Like
yeah,
people jealousy that goes on, bruh. My brother had the worst of jealousy out here, bruh. My brother used to get jumped and beat up and stuff like that, bruh. Just seeing my brother going through that, bruh, made me learn a lot. Cause I'm like, I ain't trying to have all that happening to me, you know.
all right,
Like it made me actually dress down to keep it real
yeah,
with you. It made me not want to get dripped up or nothing. It made me just want to be at a nice, decent standard to where I could just go about my day, you know. My brother used to get hated on and picked on and beat up and jumped and stuff like that, you know.
yeah,
So seeing my brother go through that, it made me just say, okay, like I'm everything my brother's doing, that's good. I'm gonna do that, you know. Like that honestly deterred me from playing some sports growing up because people was hating on my brother, this and that, this and that. I was like, my brother's on a hoop team and them same dudes on the team is jumping him and this and that. I'm like, man, I don't even want to ball no more, you know. Like it
right,
took the fuck out of hooping for me, you know. I used to love hooping with the homies, AAU, stuff like that, you know.
yeah,
But then my brother getting jumped by his own teammates, I'm like, yo, that ain't cool. Like what's going on? You know, why is this happening to my brother? And in my head, my brother's he's the greatest thing ever in my head. You know, that's my older brother. I'm
right,
thinking, I'm my brother like that. What they gonna do to me?
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
right,
like that. What they, you know, I'm cool off of that. I don't want no type of spotlight on me. Cause my brother, he always had a nice little light on him, you know. Me, I was like, I'm gonna just work in silence. And that's been
yeah,
kind of like the key to my development as I've been growing up, you know. I was just like, shoot, I'm gonna just work in silence. I'm gonna do what I gotta do, you know. And then honestly, just having that mindset, it really made everything around me chill. You know what I'm saying? Like people
yeah,
noticed that I was doing nothing, you know. Everyone was like, why don't Jay got no beef with nobody? You know,
yeah,
people be like, why is Jay just, you know, doing his thing? He over here getting good grades in the back of the class, sitting down, chilling. And people actually started noticing that from, you know, me at a younger age. Like, yo, Jay really just be chilling, doing his thing, you know? And since I sit back and I watch everybody, I really kind of analyze and I see everything. Cause that's always been kind of like what I do. I just kind of sit back and just see everything, you know,
yeah,
see how everything plays out. And I feel like I got a role to play. I play it. If I feel like I don't, I'm gonna just sit back and keep doing what I'm doing, you know? And I think that's what really helped me, you know, play the key role in me being to where I'm at, you know, staying out the streets, not getting into trouble, you know, and just really just honestly just being a good Christian man. Cause my mom told me like, hey, if God want to prove it, don't do it. You know, that's what my
right,
mom always, pops always told me, especially my pops. My pops like, if God want to prove it, don't do it. And I
right,
just took it and I ran with it. I listened to my parents when they tell me stuff because just seeing them and their development, you know,
yeah,
like how can you not listen to somebody that's accomplished everything that you want to be, you know? Like, how can you not listen to somebody that has that wisdom and that mindset that you hope you can have when you get older, you know? And even the same with my grandma. My grandma, I know my grandma's praying for me. She might be praying for me right now. It's Sunday. He gets her Sunday prayers in. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, she's probably praying, right? You know?
Yeah.
And it's really that focus of God that's just that, you know, you feel the blessings coming down on you, you know, especially when, you know, when you get to those darker places in life and you feel like you get lifted out of that, you know, like that's how you know it's real, you know?
Right. No, I can definitely vouch for that, man. When the grandma was praying for you, man, I get random texts all the time from my nana. She'd be like, "I'm just praying for you. I didn't want nothing. I just wanted to let you know that I'm praying for you." And man, I can really feel it in a way that like, I can really feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like I can really feel with like people that's my family, like my tight knit family, when they're like, "I'm praying for you." You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
can really feel it, and I feel like that's what has developed Be Great in the way that it's become. It's like
Right.
it's been just my faith in God and praying. Like sometimes, like I had an episode earlier this morning, you know, and I was telling him like we got to pray with action. You know what I'm saying? Like I pray, you know what I'm saying? Like it's great to get on your knees and pray, but then you got to go apply what you just prayed for. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I've always been a guy that it's like I'm gonna pray with action
You feel me?
because hey, faith without works is dead.
You
So it's
say
like
that.
it's like you putting in the work. I mean, it's like you praying, but you're not putting in the work.
That's what I'm saying.
So I feel you.
That's key, bro. Because,
Yeah,
you know, even people that don't pray and put in the works, they still gonna get their fruits. You know what I'm saying?
facts.
I feel like
Most
that prayer,
definitely.
you know, it helps you stay strong, it helps you stay on your course, you know, it helps you stay focused, you know, let
Yeah,
you know something better than you, that what you're doing is for a purpose, you know, you're not doing it for nothing. It's gonna be something one day, you know.
right. And I feel like, man, I think one of my favorite verses, man, is Proverbs 3 and Proverbs 3 and what is it? Proverbs 3 through 5. And it says,
Yeah,
trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not into your own understanding. Seek his will and all that you do, and he will direct your paths. And I truly,
yeah.
truly in my heart believe that. Like if I trust in the Lord and I seek his will in everything that I do, my
Mm-hmm.
paths they will be directed. So go into that, man. Like what's your favorite book in the Bible? What's your favorite verse?
What's my favorite verse? That's honestly one of my favorites. I love Proverbs 3, 5 through 6. There's
Yeah.
another one I can't remember, but it said, God will make your paths pure as water. I can't remember the exact
Yeah.
verse, but it says something like that. And when I heard that, I was like, "Whoo, that one sat in my spirit." You know,
Right.
your path is pure as water. Like, man, water is pure, dog. Look
Right.
at that, that water. You know
Yeah.
how pure is, man. I love that.
Right.
I hear something like that. Yeah, that one sat on my heart when I heard that one. I wish I'm gonna get the verse back to you later. You know, on our own time, but
Yeah.
that's one of my favorites right there. Yes, sir.
What would you say your favorite book is?
Man, I got a lot of books. I
Like
read
a
Proverbs. I think I read Proverbs more than anything
yeah.
because, you know, that's 31 chapters, so it lines up with the day. So you can read one every day and make sure you're on track, you know. But
Right.
if I had to say my favorite, I read Genesis so much. I like Genesis a lot.
Yeah.
I like Exodus, you know, like hearing about the story of Moses and Daniel and all them.
Yeah.
Uh, I like the Gospels with talking about Jesus, you know, because when you get to the red parts when Jesus is talking, when you get older reading that, you know, that hits different. Like when Jesus speaking his word, you know, talking about the vine, how he's supposed to be the vine, that's something that sits in my
Yeah.
heart. I like all the Gospels where Jesus is talking, you know. So those would probably be my three: Proverbs, Genesis, and Exodus. Throw them together, you know, then that's like the beginning of the Bible, and then all the Gospels. And them is my favorite. I also like learning about King Solomon and King David and all the kings as well.
Yeah.
Should we on our own rights, you feel me? We trying to build something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we definitely kings, man.
Yes,
We
sir.
I feel like we are the product of God. That's my personal thought, and I'm very very spiritual on that. And I just feel like Black people I feel like we are the creators of this universe. When you look at entertainment, when you look at not just entertainment, but you look at everything that flows within the universe, I mean, we are the creation of those things. Black culture makes the world go. And I truly believe that. I believe that in my heart. Like, Black culture makes the world go. And you can say whether it's spiritual, you can
only
say
speaking
it's,
what I'm saying,
yeah,
like literally, like we created we didn't, through what God put in us,
right.
like the culture, bro. Science itself, bro. Like, the Moors and all them, like they was the first ones to like really, master it and get down to it.
Right.
Art, a lot of good Black artists that we don't even hear about. We had one of the richest ever, Mansa Musa.
Yeah.
And you don't hardly ever hear about him.
Yeah.
Queen of Sheba, she had that bread too. But the only person, the one man who was outdoing Queen of Sheba in her day was King Solomon. King Solomon was the richest man on earth at his time. Like Mansa Musa was at his time. In his time, Solomon, King Solomon, horses and chariots, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Oh, no, that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, man. So it's like I always go into the spiritual realm where like I was telling my last guest, it's sometimes, man, I just go outside and I connect with the universe. And it's like I just stand there and I connect, close my eyes and I connect with my ancestors. I connect to the ones that sacrificed for me to be in the position that I am now. You know what I'm saying? For me to be where I am now, imagine all the sacrifice, the Rosa Parks, the Malcolm X, the Marcus Garveys, the Nat Turners, the Harriet Tubmans. I mean, there's so many people that you can keep naming. And it's just like those people came before me. So it's like, how can I not, the ideas that they created, like look at my wall back here. Like a man who stands for nothing will fall for anything. Malcolm X. So it's like, he's my favorite revolutionary. But like just what he stood for as, for Black people and the Black culture and the idea of who we are and our minds and how beautiful they are once they're being used. It's like, how can I not, you know what I'm saying? Like, how can I not give praise when praise is due? So for me, it's like I always go back and I try to connect with my ancestors and the people that came before me, the people that was on the, on the slave ship, the people that was, I don't know, man. I really connect here because I feel like the only way that we can overcome as Black people is we got to become liberated. You know what I'm saying? Like, until you liberate Black people, it's going to be the same way it is because you got to liberate the people that's been oppressed.
100%. 100%.
So once you liberate us, you liberate the world.
It's really it's a mental liberation as well.
Yes.
System liberation, I really wish, more African Americans would, as a whole, we would come together more,
Right.
Because I'm not going to say that everyone that makes it doesn't do anything.
Right.
But I'm more of like how LeBron's doing, making schools and doing his thing. Like imagine if Oprah was, making schools and stuff like that, or, Bill Cosby before he was locked up, he was doing that, seeing what Tyler Perry's doing now in the ATL, trying to get Black actors, a shot, because it's hard for Black actors out there. I just like to see, more of a engaged outpouring from our people because we got it in us, like because I know you got homies as well as I do that could be great in what they did, and they probably in the grave, or they just in an ignorant mindset, just making the wrong decision over and over and over again, because society, the way it weighs on us, like society made for us to look around and think we can't do anything, society was made for us to want to be a thug, that's what they try to call us, thugs and all that, but we know we intelligent.
We kings and queens.
Exactly. Like
we like, the thing is, man, it's the psychological trauma.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like I look at my neighborhood where I live now, East Knoxville, which is basically like the east side. It's kind of like where Black people live, really. But it's like I can see the systematic like disadvantages over here. We got 3 gas stations. We got one restaurant that's Shoney's. That's a buffet. Then we got, let me see what we got. Little Caesars. That's a little fast food pizza place. Arby's. All this. So it's like the systematic stuff is like what we got to overcome. But I think the most powerful thing that you can do is you got to invest back into your community.
Exactly.
You got to put the money. You got to put the ideas, the funding. You got to put all that back into your community. Until we do that, I don't know what's going to happen in America. So just speaking of America, man, like it for me, I was traveling and I went to Oakland. I seen a few areas and I'm like, man, poverty's crazy up here. And seeing like just driving on the road and seeing like homelessness, like seeing like rows of tents. It's like,
Mhm.
so how, like, you coming from Oakland and you giving back to the community, like how can poverty in Oakland change? Like what's the key thing or key things that you think can change really in Oakland?
Before I answer that, I just want to comment on the homeless in Oakland. So growing up, there always would be, little pockets of homelessness,
Yeah.
And what's crazy is even driving around with my mom, she'll be like, "Oh no, that's so and so. I went to school with them, walking down the street, like cause there's something mentally wrong with him, So he
Yeah.
couldn't take care of himself, and he either he was admitted to a mental facility and broke out, or he never was really admitted. He just kind of walking around the streets. But what's worse, him walking around the streets or him being locked in a mental facility getting drugged up all day? That's another top. That's a whole another situation we could talk about.
Right.
But it's crazy, my mom be like, "Oh, that's so and so that was on the street," And the thing is, like, if you talk to like OGs and the aunties and the grandmas, like I guarantee you, they all know some kind of wandering the streets because of like mental disadvantages. That was the issue. Like still even relevant today, but a lot more so before. But now people are just kicked out their house, just straight up, bro, and they are on the streets with their furniture, like whatever they had in their house. You'll see a lot of people with their same furniture out on the streets, because all the shelters are filled up and ain't nowhere for nobody to go. And bro, it's just so it's sad to see like how over time, like, because you used to see a lot of that in the West Oakland, a little bit, East Oakland. But now you see it everywhere, West, East, North. They don't matter. Like you're gonna see a big pocket of homeless people near any freeway, bro. Like especially like when you get far down on MLK, bro. Like you just see pockets of homeless people everywhere, bro. And you really see people out there with their own furniture out there, and that's the hardest part, is to see people with their desks and their chairs, and they try to make their desk and their chairs into a tent so they can sleep under it and stuff like that. People in our own communities, and in order to tackle that, I think the first thing they need to do is just have more. They need more shelters, straight up. Like
Yeah.
they need somewhere for people to head, and if they apply for a job, they can have a computer to be able to do that, because you can't really do much without a computer these days. And quarantine has made that even harder for people that are already homeless. Is like what do you do when it's a pandemic and you might not even have access to get a mask, or like who's like what do you do during a pandemic? That's something I can't even answer for them, because only they know what they're going through during this pandemic.
Right.
But I think really more shelters is literally like the best thing you could do. Even if one of my homies and some people that I know, they've done this before, they bought tents and just gave them to people. And one of my friends, he actually walked up to the homeless person, like, "Hey, like, what do you need? What to help you out most right now?" And they was just like, "Hey, I just need a tent and I'll be better." People can donate a tent to a homeless person. Like I think that'd be a good initiative, like that. Maybe because one of my friends has a nice homeless initiative that he's been giving out. His name is Percy Bastini. He's an alpha with the University of San Francisco. And he has a nice homeless outreach that he started a little while ago. He's been just how I've been plotting, all my stuff for years. He's been plotting, his homeless outreach for years. So I'm actually going to talk to him about this now that this is why we get together and we talk. I talk to him like, hey, we should do like get a good group of people and let's go out and give tents to people. That's all we do right now. We can't build a facility quite yet, but when we get there, that's definitely something I'm gonna keep in my mind, and on my heart for real. So to answer that question, definitely more facilities just to help people get back on their feet, because I feel like a lot of these people, they can get back to work and they can get back on their feet if they're given the opportunity to, but it's so expensive out here, like it's hard to get back on your knock down if you don't got nobody to help you back up, because people just struggling just to stay in their homes,
Right.
Like people got to sell their homes, because they, the rent, property taxes, and all that goes up, so they gotta bounce out. But the people that are able to keep their homes, they blessed.
Yeah, most definitely, man. So I feel like what you were saying though, man, is like that takes a lot of courage to even do that and hand that tent to somebody and real like, and it's a lot of instances like I'm really only one step away from that. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that we got to realize is like God can take all this away in a matter of seconds. You could be right there next to that person that you just helped. So like I think, just what y'all did as a collective group of people is beautiful. So I thought I would, applaud you on that and tell you that, man, that's beautiful. So just keep doing what you're doing and keep inspiring and, keep helping as many people as you can. But you got to tell me what's on your shirt. Like you got to tell me about Diamond Heart Productions.
Yes,
what is
sir.
Diamond Heart Productions?
Man, this ties back to my child. It all ties back to my childhood, dog. Because, I'm gonna show you the back. It says Heart of a Champion on that too. Can you see that?
Oh yeah.
That's just how I feel. And I feel that's how we all should feel, like I got what it takes to be great and I'm gonna do that, be great. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
But like I was, explaining earlier, like just the strong men and women in my life, they got diamond hearts, unshakable foundation. Like someone comes against them, they ain't gonna shake, they ain't gonna stay strong, they gonna stay 10 toes down for those who love them and who've been there for them, And I take on that same mindset and then I put in, man, got a little flying around here. And then so that's where the name came from. And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and then just a little side story, but it still relates to Diamond Heart. So my uncle, he's in the league, Well, he was in the league, he retired, my uncle Paul Pierce. And I remember when I was younger, he used to send us like boxes of Nikes and stuff like that. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever, like get a Nike sweatsuit, get the new LeBrons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I used to love that, And
Yeah.
I was always, and then I always thought to dress nice, like to be dripped down up until got a little bit older, and I didn't want to get caught lacking, and I started dressing down a little bit. But I always used to like to dress, wear something nice, and I always wanted my own brand to a certain extent, And just one day I was writing a poem about my brother actually called Diamond Heart. And then, I just let that poem sit, I write, used to write poems and songs and stuff like that. Then I went back because I was thinking of a name. I was like, okay, what would be a dope name for the brand, Because this other woman, I was talking to her when I was working one day. She's like, what do you do? Like, what do you do? I was like, yeah, I like to make music and stuff like that. She's like, you should start a collective for something like that, kind of like ASAP and them have. And then from there, I was like, you know what? I was supposed to then do that. I'm gonna think about it. Went home, went through my notebook, saw Diamond Heart, and I was like, okay, what I want to be? Diamond Heart Entertainment, Diamond Heart this, Diamond Heart that. I was like, you know what? Diamond Heart Productions.
Yeah.
Then from there, made my LLC the next week. Got my first shipment of clothing within the next month and a half or so. And then from there, I just been rocking and rolling, like it's been a blessing to get to be on this path, and then going back to my uncle, like it's cool that now that I'm older, I pull up on him and his family and bring a box of clothes for him and his kids, like that was just a nice little parallel that happened over time, I pulled up on him last, actually that's when I met Albert about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when I was dropping my diamond. That's crazy. when I was dropping off my Diamond Heart, just kicking it with the fam for a couple of days in LA, I brought the box of Diamond Heart. My uncle was, he was proud. He's like, hey Jay, like I love what you're doing, this and that. Let me know if you need something. And then I remember I was going to my car to grab the pants, and then I see Albert walking across the street. I'm like, who is this? And then he was like, hey, what's up, man? I'm just in the area looking at places I might want to stay one day, this and that. I was like, hey, I respect that. And he told me that. I was like, I respect that, bro, for real. Yeah. And I was like, shoot, what you do? I'm getting into real estate and stuff like that, but today I'm just kind of looking at houses, chilling. I'm like, okay, bro. He's like, what you got there? I was like, oh yeah, this is my brand, Diamond Heart Production, dog. I'm trying not to sell too much right now because tax reasons. But shoot, if you want some, you can get some. He's like, oh yeah, bro, let me get them pants right there.
Yeah.
Gave him the pants, and then I think Albert was literally like, he was like the first person to get the cardinal red Oakland pants. Like he was the first one to get them. Besides my family that I dropped them off. He was the first one to actually just cop them just straight up. Because when somebody's right there and just like, hey bro, let me get them. I'm like, all right, dog. Like you mess with the vision. We just chopped it up. It became cool. Kicked it a couple times after that. We've been rocking. Yeah. So it's cool. To have that. That's funny how that related back to Albert. But it's cool to be on the other side. But give the gear out to people and this and that. Versus getting it when I was young. I'm looking at my little cousin like. Excited and put some stuff they wearing my Diamond Heart gear and stuff like that. And it's just a blessing. It's cool to see.
Yeah. Man, that's dope, man. That's crazy. Like writing a poem and then it turned into be a whole business, man. I think that's incredible. So like as far as like the heart of the champion, go into that, like go into more detail of like so my listeners can feel this. What the heart of the champion on the back.
Yeah. Watch the first drop, the Welcome to the Family one, and that was going to be kind of the slogan. There's different slogans for each drop. My first drop was Welcome to the Family, and that one sold out within a couple of months fairly quickly. And the Welcome to the Family was really to relate, shoot, this is a family brand, it ain't really about the money, where it goes right now, but I just want to get the name down, and I want to enjoy having my own brand, having my LLC, being a Black entrepreneur, But then just having that mindset, the money started coming in. You know what I'm saying? Like just having that mindset, not about the money. I don't care what I make, what I don't make, what I do make. You end up, meeting expectations you thought you wouldn't have met,
Right.
And that's what Welcome to the Family. That was the first one that was on the back. But now talking about Heart of the Champion, like after having that success, having people saying like, hey, dog, like that's what you're doing is actually inspiring, bro. And I'll just be like, man, I just feel like I got the heart of the champion. I feel like I can do whatever I put my mind to, and just, my uncle was a champion as well. He sent us these gold championship basketballs. You probably seen them on, on my IG, the champion basketball. Yeah. He won back in 2008, sent us some championship basketballs with our name on them. And, I don't know, just remembering that gold ball, it said the champions on it. And I was like, the heart of the champion, I want to inspire people to just, like, hey, we all got the heart of the champion. We're hungry enough. We got the Mamba mentality that we gonna be disciplined and stick to it and keep doing it, like a lot of my life related back to either, Black politics like MLK or, Malcolm or basketball. Like, those are two things I really, or of course the Bible, but those are the things that really stick to me like glue, And what I've noticed is just like anyone that became great, is a champion, and it became champions because they had the heart of the champion, So I want to put that on my back and let them know, like, hey, and that's why I made it all white, holy, because the other ones are black and red. These are all white. This. That's why it was the all white one. All the others are black and red. Like this. I feel like this is setting a good precedence for what I'm trying to do in the next couple of months, and just knowing that I got that on my back. Like, hey, you got to be great. Like right there on your chest, and feel me. Like you let know. That's a statement right there. It ain't just a statement. And that's really what it is. It's a statement for me of like, hey, I'm calling it before anybody else does.
Right. Man, that's dope, man. seeing that and hearing that, like you showed me at first, I'm like, I've always heard that saying, but I've never heard it broken down to that extent. Like the heart of a
Yeah.
champion. We all have the heart of a champion. And then the holy part, I love that. That's
Yeah.
dope. So like what like so as far as like what do you like as far as quarantine happened and all the things with
Mm-hmm.
COVID, like how were you affected? Like how was your business affected as far as shipping, as far as handling emails, contacting people? Like how
Mm-hmm.
did COVID and this pandemic affect your business?
Well, thankfully, um, honestly, before COVID hit, I got most of my sales off and all that other stuff. So it didn't affect my first drop too much, to keep it honest. But it did affect me working for the Oakland A's. They was like, oh, we're not gonna have a season this year, Like, sorry, we ain't got a season this year. And I was a little disappointed, because I look forward to working for the A's. I had a good time working the games and stuff like that. But as far as Diamond Heart, if anything, it just helped me work on more of like the more hands-on things that my time would have been taken up with a job, like photo shoots and sending out messages and emails and stuff like that to people to know, like, hey, I got my brand, check it out, this and that. It made me a lot more accessible if I have to go out of town for any reason, like if I gotta go to LA, gotta go to Santa Rosa or something like that, made it a little easier to just get up and go, because it was in December I was moving, dog. I went from Santa Rosa to LA within the same 2 weeks, and that's a mission. I went to Santa Rosa, had a little bit of time, some time with the family out there, doing my last, because I do online tutoring as well, doing my last week of online tutoring before all the children go on break and stuff like, or should I say young teens? I work mostly, but this week just busting into LA, making just revigorating the connections that I have out there, and let them know, like, hey, like, I'm probably gonna be back doing this and that, like, just make sure y'all ready when I pop back up sometime this summer,
Yeah.
because I believe in keeping that connection. Like, as good as it is to call somebody, like, just being like, hey, I'm in your city's a whole different vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
Just pulling up is just like, okay, like he's actually, people are just like, okay, he's actually active, he's out here, this and that.
Right.
But what was the question? Kind of went off topic a little bit.
No, it was. I mean, that was. We were just speaking on COVID and talking about COVID,
Yeah.
and how it impacted your business. And I think
it does.
for me,
It makes me.
yeah, most definitely. But I think for me, man, like it really became an opportunity. Like for me, when USPS, I really struggled with like getting my stuff shipped. Like I was shipping stuff in December. It wasn't getting to people in January. So I'm having to handle
Dang.
calls. I'm having to send emails, and people are like, I haven't got my merch yet. And that's when USPS, they kind of lost their funding. So I took it upon myself. Yeah. So when they passed that bill, they didn't put no money in the USPS. So
That's
I'm
what I'm
sitting
saying.
there as a small business owner, like, what the hell do I do now? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, then it's
Right.
like, it came to the point where I was like, you know what, man? I'm about to just go deliver this. I'm about to go deliver this merch myself. And
That's real.
it took it to a whole nother level. Like you said, when people can feel like, hey, Jay, I'm in the city, man. Like, pull up, I got your merch right here. Like, and then when I got to like do that, the reactions that I got from people has been incredible. Instead of me shipping it, I get to go actually see them. I get to put that smile on their face. I get to make their
Right.
day, basically. So the merch
Right.
that they ordered, it's like the owner the CEO of Be Great is here. You know what I'm saying? It's not that I want that. I don't want that. I just want people to feel the genuine of me actually showing up and saying, hey, I brought your merch. I thought it would just be better if I just came and gave it to you. Instead of me shipping it through a whole service, then you got to run into the mailman. It's not the same. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like for me, it was more of like, let's just go deliver it myself and let people feel that this is genuine.
Right. Yeah, even for my first drop, before it sold out just in person too. I shipped out a couple things to some people. For the most part, just people that I knew
Yeah.
around. I don't pull up or this and that. And what's funny is like people that was just like, hey, bro, just start a website. I'll cop some, this and that. The same people didn't even cop that when I dropped the website,
Right.
even a month later, 2 months. I was like, see, I knew what I was doing. People want to give their input, and I appreciate it because the website did help me get more. I was like, man, the same people I was telling me to drop the website didn't even cop that. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm like, I appreciate the input, but because it's just like, hey, bro, just drop that website, and then I'll be on it. Hit them up. They're like, oh, yeah, I got you next time, this and that. But I think that was just funny to me. Like, it's funny how people always want to tell you kind of how to run your business. But then when you listen to the advice, it's like, okay, like, now where you at? I listen to what you said. You said you wanted this, you said you wanted that. There was a couple of people that's like, hey, get that website copying, and you don't hear nothing from nobody. I'm just like, hey, like I said, I'm word. And if I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do something. And but I do appreciate anybody's input to keep it real. But I think that was just funny to me because I was just like, what the heck? I'm like, because they was really, pushing. They was like, hey, dog, you gotta get this website up and get official. Get this website up and get official. Get this website up and get official. I did that. I don't hear nothing. I'm just like, does that mean I'm official? You know what I'm saying? And that was just funny to me, just to see the, we took the advice, this and that, and then I ain't even hear nothing. I'm just like, dang. I bet you was really Diamond Heart cards, not saying that they not, but it was for me, that was funny. That's why I love the in-person interaction, people just go, oh yeah, I'm about to rep this with pride. Like, people let you know, like, hey, I'm proud of you, because getting the email message, people saying that means just as much as in person, but it's different, when you can these days you gotta fist bump people or this and that, but people that exact, what I'm saying, the virtual that. But the people that you see, like my grandma, my aunties, and my cousins, get them hugs. But hey, I appreciate you. Like, it's really for y'all. Like, I want us all to get to the highest potential that we can. And that's what Diamond Heart's about. And be able to tell them that in person. Have a little 5-10 minute conversation before head back to the house, go make another order or something like that. That like you said, as much as you said it, like you said, it makes their day and it makes our day too. To be able to. Just to see the smile on people's faces and know who has your back, like, that's priceless.
It's a completely different feeling.
Completely different.
It's completely different. Like, I'm like you, man. I'm very more of like in person. I like to feel the energy. I like to feel it. I'm very observant. I like to go to a place. Right. It don't matter if I'm sitting in a room with billionaires or I'm sitting in a room with a bunch of people that's homeless. Like, I'm gonna observe and feel the energy before I interact with anybody. But I'm gonna tell you, like, I'm gonna try to be the most genuine person in there, no matter what you know what I'm saying, no matter what the environment is. So, like, just speak on it, like, as a Black entrepreneur, like, what has been your hardest lesson or the greatest thing that you learned?
That's a great question right there. I think the fact that I did the sole proprietor for people that want to make their LLCs, like, that gives you a lot of way for deadlines and stuff like that, And I say the biggest thing is try to make, your tax deadlines, like your quarterly deadlines and stuff like that. Like, I think, and that is more staying on top of it, because I didn't meet all my deadlines, but the fact that I was a sole proprietor, and when you're a sole proprietor, they don't hold that stuff against you. So, okay, that's fine. Like, it's really good to make sure a young entrepreneur is just like we were saying at the beginning, showing up on time, hitting them deadlines, and, just staying as efficient as you can, and really separate. One of my good friends, Keith Bacchus, he works for Chase, and he knows a lot about taxes and just investing your money and things of that sort. But he was telling me, make sure you keep your personal and your business separate. Like, that was some of the best advice that I've gotten from him. It's making sure your credit score is good, because you're gonna need that later in life. Like, I think those are some of the, keeping that credit together, hitting the deadlines, staying on time, and having that sole proprietorship for your LLC is definitely a good first start for anyone with starting their first business venture in their LLC, for sure.
Yeah. And I think what you said, man, the key thing that you said is that credit score. What's your credit score grade? You can about get anything. It don't matter. Right. It don't matter if you're not making that much, but if your credit score is like a 700 or above,
Exactly.
They say that the 700 and the 715 range is a great range to be in. And sometimes I hear people say like you need an 800 to get this. You really don't. For you to get like a solid APR rate, like you need a great credit score. They don't care how much money you have. Yeah, if you got money, well, you better pay it in cash if you're gonna do it that way. But a lot of people don't have $200,000 cash sitting on them as a normal
Right.
person. You know what I'm saying? But if my credit score is great, that gives a whole nother avenue for you. And I think the thing that suffers in Black people, man, is the financial literacy.
Mm-hmm.
The financial literacy in Black people it's like it's not that we're ignorant, we just don't know. There's a difference between being ignorant and not knowing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think like for our culture of people, like we gotta help each other. We gotta have that financial literacy conversations with our kids, or our nephews or our nieces or our cousins. Like we gotta have, hey, are you investing here? Like what you just said, investing. Are you putting money here? Are you saving here? Or like instead of going to buy the new blues that Michael Jordan just came out with, that's the ones that he wore in the 80s. And he just making different colorways. Instead of spending $200 on that, you can put 50 here, put 50 there, then put another 50 there. And then you still at what? What is that? That's 5 times 3. You at 150. You still got $50, So I think the financial literacy is the thing that we don't know, but it's something that we can learn. But you got me talking when you said that credit score. And I feel like, that takes you so far in life that people don't understand this is one of the things that I recently started saying to myself is if I got water, shelter, food, and a credit score, I can do about anything.
I like that. Yes, sir.
That's all I need. Because all the other things is gonna come. If my credit score, if that fourth thing is in impact and it's good together, I'm gonna have the water, I'm gonna have the food, and I'm gonna have the shelter. I don't have to have the mansion. I don't have to have the littlest house. But as long as I'm happy within the space that I'm in,
right,
and my credit score is right, I'm good.
You know what I'm saying? I'm with you all the way. And of course, God is always going to be that equation.
Most definitely.
Take all that to the. But tapping your credit score. That's the best thing you can. That's the best thing you can do for yourself, especially if you coming from you a teen right now and you watching this. Like, when you get your first credit card, man. I'm telling you, make one purchase for something you want and pay that thing off. Already have the money,
right.
Like don't not have already have the money and pay that off right there. 200 turns to 400, 400 turns to 800, 800 turns to 1600. Next thing you know, you gotta work all that off, brother or sister. Like all the youngins out watching, like make sure if you're gonna use your credit card, make sure you already got the money. Honestly, make sure you have double or triple that money so that way you're not spending all your money on something. So that's for all the youngins out there that be watching. Because when I was younger, man, I was just buying whatever. I was hitting, we was just getting just because we felt like we could, and then we figured out, like, oh, I got to pay all that back. And then you got to get on your grind.
Right.
I want to make sure they on their grind, they could say that they ain't got to pay stuff back they already done spit.
Yeah. So we're gonna change it. We're gonna change the scene a little bit. And I really want to hear your thoughts on this. And coming from the background and coming from everything that you've been instilled from your parents is, what was your thought of 2020 and the Black Lives Matters movement? What was your thought process on that?
I think it was 100% necessary. I think the world had to know, like, yo, we not out here screaming for nothing. Like, Black people are being oppressed and dying every day, and our struggle is as real as any struggle, because without the African-American struggle, where would the world be today? Like without us going through what we went through, like where would we be today? Like that's the question. Like, where would America be? We built America on our backs, and we ain't getting no reparations. You know, like Asian Americans got some reparations. Native Americans, they got some reparations. They got some land. Honestly, the Native Americans definitely didn't get enough. But you know, that's a whole nother topic. But we the only race of people, even in Germany. I hate to bring up something so vulgar as the Holocaust, but you know, even some of the Jews out there and the families, you know, some of the, you know, God bless their souls, the ones that have lost their lives in that tragedy, you know, they've gotten reparations. And there's a whole lot of other cultures that make sure they have reparations to these people. Like even in, you know, some countries in Germany, you know, they'll have like a whole site dedicated to that, just so people remember, hey, we did this and we ain't never gonna go back to that again, you know. But here we are in 2020, and you see little Black girls getting beat up by big white policemen, and you see little Black boys like Tamir getting shot because he was playing with a toy gun in the park. Like, come on now, you can see from a distance that's a young boy, and you know, he's not even pointing it at nobody, like he's gonna shoot nobody. He's just running around playing cowboys stuff. And you still gonna kill that young man, and then going up to Floyd, put his knee on Floyd's neck for how long, bro? That video, I couldn't even watch all of it because I
didn't watch it at all.
Like, I seen like maybe like, I seen the clips and stuff like that, but how you gonna keep your knee on somebody's neck and not know that you killing them? He knew what he was doing. You know, there was something in him that's in a lot of people in America of all races that wants to keep their knee or their foot on the Black man's neck, you know. And you know, we have to let people know, like, honestly, we tired of this, because this narrative keeps playing out over and over and over again, and we really have to let them know we tired of it, you know. And I hope anyone that was, you know, with the Black Lives Matters and had the right mindset going into it, you know, they stick with it and they take that as motivation to, I'm going to keep doing better for my community, you know. Because obviously it's hard to stay out in the streets every day and keep advocating for our people that are in politics that do this every day, like, you know, like the what's his name, Sean King, yeah, people like him that really do it every day. Like, salute to them, you know, like they give them the full effort, you know. And the young entrepreneurs like us, we just got to keep building so we can get to the point to where we give back and keep spreading the word, you know. So I think it was 100% necessary for that to happen, because people have to know, like, honestly, as Black folks, we really tired of seeing our aunties, our uncles, our cousins have to deal with the police in that type of manner, because there's no reason for that these days. Like, come on, like we can be civilized, but they still choose to keep their foot, keep their knee on our necks, even if we say we can't breathe. And that's just a shame, you know. I just pray that we all remember these instances and we keep pushing to be great, you know. We keep pushing to us, you know, we keep inspiring each other to do great things, you know. We look at all the like people like LeBron James is doing good, you know. We look at even people like, I'll bring up Sean again, people like Sean King that wants to take upon himself to educate people about the cause, you know. I got high praises for that man, you know. And Mr. Farrakhan, you know, people that continue to preach, like, you know, like Black unity and things of that sort. I could commend anyone of that can even be in the breadth of what they're doing for the community. I hope we all strive to continue to do things like that. And remember, Black lives will always matter, you know. People want to say all lives matter, but that's not the topic today. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the topic today. It's Black lives. And know me when I'm watching it thinking that all lives matter. Of course they matter. We all made in the image of God. But I don't see your people on the internet getting killed, you know. I don't see your people being systematically used by America as an ends to their means, you know. Our end is, has been America's since the beginning of American history, you know. Our end has been their means. And I don't want to hear nobody talk about all lives matters, because your end was never a means for this country. Our end was always the means for this country. Our backs always held the weight. And that's just what I got to say. Black lives will always matter. And I'm glad people went out to the streets. People of all races, all colors came out and did what they had to support the cause. So, you know, thank God that happened in 2020. America, we need to have that outpouring. We couldn't let that simmer in our spirits too much longer. If we let that simmer a couple more years, it could have been worse, to keep it real. We let that simmer a little bit longer, it could have been cities for burning down. Shoot, it had to happen. It's probably gonna happen again, to be honest. I ain't gonna cap in and think it's just gonna get better. But I'm glad that we were able to have that outpouring, let them know, like, hey, we serious. Like, we really tired of seeing our people getting systematically mistreated, walking in the store and you getting followed by security everywhere. Like, I'm just a young black man out here trying to get some milk and some, and I'm getting followed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a young entrepreneur trying to do my thing. I don't need no supervision like they portray in the media, and leave it at that. Like, Black Lives, like I was even saying about just walking in the store. For us, it's every day. It's not we gonna march today and feel good about ourselves. Like, it's a everyday thing. Being the only black man in almost all my courses. Like, that, it's real like that. Like, unless you go to a black college, I guarantee you almost every single time you'll be the only black person in most of your classes for the most part. And the ratio is very small. 1, 2. If you get to 3% in a lot of these schools, 4 or 5%, then shoot, that's pretty up there. And if you even get to the 12% range, like, we're moving up. And that's why I like Tuskegee and all them other schools, that all the HBCUs, that have a safe place for black folks. Because at my school, at times it didn't feel like a safe place for black folks, because the struggles they was talking about was just like, y'all out of touch about just hearing other people's struggles. I'm like, y'all kind of about, no disrespect to anybody to go through. I'm like, but y'all kind of out of touch with your color, and you guys really think you're the standard. And imagine being below standard and you're talking about your problems, or as America says, below standards, But that's really what Black Lives is about. It's about letting them know, like, hey, like, there's really systematic things in place that don't allow us to move up, especially in the corporate way. That's why there's so many black entrepreneurs these days. They say, shit, I'm just do it myself because they ain't gonna do it for me,
Facts.
And that's Black Lives Matter just falls under so many umbrellas. I could talk about this all day because Black Lives Matters. Every aspect of a Black Lives Matters. I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, man, like, Black Lives Matter, man, it was more of like, for me, the reaction was more of like, for me, the reaction was, it's my life more than matters. Like, the matter, you're putting me at the bare minimum. But it's like,
I like
you know what I'm saying? Like, my life matters. I have purpose. I have dignity. I have character. I'm genuine. And at the end of the day, I'm a human being. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, my life it was more than just like, it was hard for me to stand with the movement because it's like, I can't sit there and say that my life matters. That's hard for me to sit there and say that. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because, like I was just saying, I feel like my life more than matters as a black man that's lived to 25 that a lot of us don't even get to see. I had a few homies that died right out of high school. They died in high school. And I'm like, for me to be at 25 and to sit here and say that my life, I'm going to stand with my fist and say my life matters, is I can't. For me, I just couldn't do that because it's like, my life is more than just like matter. Like, this computer's made of matter.
right.
But what you do with the computer is what makes it major. So it's like, my life, I couldn't stand on that. I couldn't stand on my life matters because I would not sit there and look at another person or look at a white person and say my life matters. I couldn't do that because I stand more. I'm a human being. I just have a different pigmentation than you.
Exactly.
I am the creator of the universe. That's what I truly believe. How can I sit there and say that my life matters? For me, that was my personal thought, and I don't try to push that to other people, But for me, it was kind of like, for black people, man, we are the universe, and it was hard for me to sit there and say that my life matters, and I stand with this group of people because of this, or I march because of that. I didn't go in the marches when they had the marches here. I didn't, post anything about Black Lives Matter because it was hard for me to sit there and realize, like, all these people, like, you'll sit there and say that all lives matters. Well, if that's the case, why are we even having this argument then? If all lives matters, why are we even having this conversation? Why am I having to look at you and for me, I'm not going to take myself down to your level to educate you as a black man. Go educate yourself on the
Exactly.
history. Don't go educate yourself on your history and what your people did to my people. You know what I'm saying? And so
Mm-hmm.
it's like for me to sit there and say that it was like I couldn't even do it because I would have people. One time I think I posted like one thing, and then everybody just kept saying all lives matters, and I'm like, okay, now I see I see who you really are. But it's like more of anything. I'm like, okay, if all lives matter, why the hell we having this conversation then?
I'm
If
saying.
all lives matter, why is it
Right.
even a convert? Why am I having to fight that my life matters? Why am I even having to stand here with my fist up and go through the riots and go through all that and go through all these things? Man, we built this country. Everything this country stands on, the
Facts.
railroad systems, the trucks, the trains, the everything, the corporations, the buildings. It was
The
built on
White
black people. The White House. Oh, speaking of the White House, going into the White House, man, like seeing that my and your ancestors built that place, and then see Obama and his family be in that same place for a black kid in seventh. What was I in sixth or seventh grade? You couldn't tell me
Yes.
nothing. There was not one thing that you could look
Actually,
at. You could look at me and say, Chris, you're not going to accomplish that. There was not one thing that you could, and to be in that instance in my life and be in seventh grade as a 13, 14-year-old kid and
right.
realize that my ancestors that built that place, and then we got a whole black family in that place. There was nothing you couldn't tell me that I couldn't do.
Because
Nothing.
Obama was definitely my politics. Easy, like we all know about George Bush or whatever,
Right.
the Clintons and all that. But as far as like the introduction to politics, like Obama was it. Like if Obama didn't become president, I probably would have never even became a politics major or nothing like that because that's what I went to school for, politics, political sciences. But yeah, you bringing up Obama, like that was huge to see a black man in office. But then going back to your comments, just briefly about the Black Lives Matters. Honestly, dog, I'm the type of person. I think you can agree with a lot, two different sides, but it's just about your understanding of it. Because with you saying, like you couldn't, you have so much pride in to the point, healthy pride at that, to where you're saying like, why should I have to tell somebody that Black Lives Matters when I know Black Lives Matters? Like it's you stating, you feel like you stating the obvious already, But
Right.
we're in a system to where they basically telling us to our face that y'all lives don't matter, and that's why I think just being able to shout that back at the system, let them know like, hey, we matter. Like I think that
Right.
was something big. I think that's just some type of energy that we could piggyback up into something. I think like how you're thinking, like a little bit more productive, versus saying I matter, saying I have purpose, like I can do more. Like my situations don't define who I am. I could definitely see Black Lives Matters evolving into something that truly inspires versus just, yelling out Black Lives Matters and having I could definitely see it bloom into something, just greater to where, it zeroes in. Cause now we know, like y'all know, now we telling y'all we matter. Now we gonna show y'all why we matter, cause we gonna do what we got on, inspire our youth, educate our youth about their roots and stuff like that. But
I think the
I'm glad that you brought up.
yeah.
What were you saying? My bad.
No, I was just gonna say the most beautiful thing that you can do to scream back at to basically scream back at the system is vote and vote locally. You want to
Right.
make change. You want to make change in your community. You want to make change in Oakland. You want to make change in East Knoxville. You got to get out and vote.
That's
As
facts.
and
I
as
feel like I was on throughout all last year. I always post on my story, go out and vote, put up the
yeah,
the different polling in my body and stuff like that. Get out and vote. Do canvassing and stuff like that. I'm glad that you brought voting up, dog, because I was when campaign season comes around, like I'm big into telling people like, hey, go out and vote, do your research, see who you to a couple, go to a couple city hall meetings, town meetings, see who's talking about what, see what crowd is there. A lot of times you're gonna see a lot of white people because it's politics. You're gonna see a lot of white people, but somebody you gotta just go out and see it for yourself. Because if I swear, any black person tries to go to any one of these rallies and stuff like that, and you see a bunch of white people out there, you're gonna be thinking something has to change. That's gonna be your first thought.
Definitely.
Something. Because I've been to so many, and I'm like the only black person in there. And I'm just like,
right.
We got a long way to go as far as politics and voting and getting our people involved. Like voting is definitely the biggest thing that you can do. That first initial step. Okay, that's honestly because that's so accessible to all of us.
Yeah. And the reason why I wore this blue, I'm gonna tell you why I wore this blue, is because shout out to Stacey Abrams. Shout out to her for changing Georgia into a blue state. But I give you this though, man. She's a double minority. One, she's a woman. I'll start with that. And then two, she's a black woman. And then for her to do what she did, that should enlighten way more people that she had an idea that I could really change something. And it all starts with this.
Right.
Black people, we're not ignorant on voting. It's not that we're ignorant. We just don't know that how impactful it is in our own communities. I mean, if you look, you study politics. If you look across the spectrum of races that vote and you look at it, what's the percentage of black people that go into the poll offices and vote?
Bro, it's maybe like 15%, if even.
Right.
It's low.
So it's not like it's not like we're ignorant. It's just we don't know. The only, you know what I'm saying? So it's like the only things that we're kind of taught in our community is you're gonna play sports, you're gonna be great at that, and if you don't make it, then you go to corporate America and work. That's what's taught to us. You become an entertainer, and that was my whole mission in my whole life. Is I'm not gonna be an entertainer. I did the basketball thing. I'm not gonna do that though, because my life has more than just matter. Going back to that. So now I get to have people like you on the show that have a story that's Diamond Heart Productions, Heart of a Champion. But it's like that's Diamond Heart Productions is about more than just the race. It's about a whole collective of people and people being able to see, that you got the heart of a champion, but you got a diamond heart. And I think, man, what you're doing is so beautiful, man. And keep doing what you're doing. Keep elevating, keep uplifting, keep pushing, keep being great. And I think this, man, this interview's been dope, man. But I want to leave with this question. I do this with all my guests. And so the ending question, man, is what does be great mean to you? Being great in your life, what does that mean?
Well, first and foremost, being great is really connecting with folks like yourself, bouncing ideas and coming up with solutions, I think that's something we got to continue to do more in our community. And being great is setting goals and accomplishing them, like point blank period. Say you're going to do something and do it, don't sleep on yourself. I don't know how many people I talk to saying they want to do this and that and they never did it. Like being great is setting goals and accomplishing them. And don't try to accomplish them, because you can do anything, Like John 3:16, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Like I can do all things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set goals, and some goals that maybe seem out of sight, you set goals that high, you always going to be working. You know what I'm saying? Set goals that high, you always going to be working. So being great for me is just setting them goals and going for it at any cost, like Malcolm X said, by any means necessary. As long as it's holy, you're doing the right thing, you handle your business in the right way, like just making sure you own it, just being the hungriest lion in the jungle, being the biggest bear trying to get that salmon around that season, because the seasons come, you got to go and get it, and that's what being great to me is prepare yourself for them opportunities that's gonna pop up, because opportunities come. Opportunities everywhere. But you, like we were saying, tying up the whole energy back to the beginning. Like, you can have the faith, but faith without works is dead. So you gotta have set them goals, have the faith, have the plan, execute that thing, be great,
Man, that's beautiful. I'm just gonna end that right there off of that. So tell people how they can find you on social media. What's your links? What's your website? Just give people that's listening where they can find Diamond Heart Productions.
Yes, sir. You can go over to @Diamond Heart Productions, as it's spelled right here. It's just Diamond Heart Productions. You can go on IG to be on IG. You can go on Facebook @Diamond Heart Productions as well. You want to go over to the website, we got, a little collection. You can look at some of the photos we took for a photo shoot back early this winter. Well, technically late winter, kind of mid-winter, but besides that, you go over to www.diamondheartproductions.com/Big Cartel. Head over there, check out some of the gear, check out the lookbook. If you see something you like, feel free to cop it. I'm probably going to do it since I'm on the show. You get 10 to 20% off if you use Be Great. Just something for people attention. Like, put in Be Great at checkout, and I guarantee you get some type of nice deal. And I hope y'all enjoy it. I hope y'all love what you see, because I put the time and effort in. Just like Chris over here, we put the time and the effort in, and we see on our fruits, and we're going to keep getting these fruits. We're going to keep planting them seeds and watch them trees go, because that's just what we do. Black entrepreneurs, we got to keep growing.
Amen. So support Black business. Subscribe below. Download the episode, download this episode. Go check out my man's at blackheartproductions.com. Go check it out. And, man, I appreciate you being on the show, man. This was awesome.
I appreciate you, brother, man. For just bouncing ideas with you, dog. Like, hey, I'm going to just let you know, like, keep pushing, bro. Like, I know you already got that mindset, and I ain't even got to tell you that, but, just keep pushing, dog. What I'm saying? I got to tell you nothing. No, yeah. We both got that. And I appreciate you having me as well.
Yes, sir.